Hey everybody. I don't expect a lot of people to watch this. This again is very, very early. The reason for this though, going so early, it's my wife's birthday. So I plan on taking her out to breakfast. Yesterday we had a whole day where we did a whole bunch of stuff. And all during this wonderful, wonderful time where we've been just blown up with hurricanes and everything else. Barat, how are you? Good morning to you, my friend. So just so I want to make sure that this you don't think this is some kind of clickbait title. I want to explain a few things. First of all, I was going to do a game today, but this table is absolutely covered with old glasses, like old McDonald's glasses, because my wife is putting them up on Macari. Look at this. Look at the. Remember these? Used to be able to get these. That's Mayor McCheese. Okay, let's see who else we got here that we could look at. Oh, she has this old Star Trek one. Spock lives. Okay. Look at this, Steve. The Hamburglar, right? Who doesn't want one of those, right? Okay. But I'm going to get to this. Return of the Jedi original cup from Burger King, right? Muppets, Chipmunks, Ronald McDonald, Grimace. Okay. So she took over my table so she can set up. She opened up a box so she can go through all these things. Remember all these old glasses? I do. Ronan, how are you? Let's see who else popped their heads in. Monster, how are you? Morning, Rob. Up early as well. To see the Seahawks play in Germany. Very cool. Nighthawks, how are you? Good morning. Shannon, how are you? Good to see you. I'm too young to remember, honestly, but they look cool. Yeah, no, long time ago. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been thinking that, one of the things the only things that I ever wanted to do in this business, okay, and it is a business, I don't care what anybody says, full of narcissism and everything else, okay, especially when people make it about themselves. I've been thinking, something, I need a break, maybe walk away, and, the farm has been too much. My health has not been great. This arm is not good, but we're going for therapy for it. We're dealing with some of the long COVID things. We're bringing in supplements. I've got a great doctor who's been a friend of mine for a very long time. Basically kept me alive when I was about to check out, and I'll forever be indebted to him. But trying to keep this going has been very, very, very hard for me. I'm passionate about it. Nighthawks, thank you so much, bro. Thank you for the donation. It means a lot to me. It really does. And I'll explain to you why that means so much to me, because it's going to help with something that I usually try to do every year. And unfortunately, times are tough for everybody. So we'll explain that in a little further. But, I'm not a clickbait type of guy. And when I say, I was thinking of taking a long hiatus and seeing whether or not to come back and taking the holidays off. I think, all I ever wanted to do, originally I thought, geez, when I first started this, if I could fill the New Haven Coliseum. Now, a lot of you don't remember the New Haven Coliseum because you got to be from Connecticut, okay? But they knocked it down some years ago. And my uncle, who's gone now, and I used to go get a couple of 40s, and he was a hippie. Oh, God. And I would take him to the Nighthawk game. I would pay to go see the New Haven Nighthawks. Love hockey. Always loved hockey. Big hockey fan. Go Maple Leafs. Even though we're not that good. Good afternoon, Steph. And I said, boy, when I started doing this, if I could fill the New Haven Coliseum. And, well, I got to 5,000 pretty quickly. And I went, wow, that's amazing. I never expected that because, I used to see people like drive through a review. Now back then, they were like at 10,000. I said, wow, that's amazing. And then the pedophile, Nick, he was closing in on 20,000. I thought, oh my God, he's doing stuff with the dice tower and everything like that. And I was amazed at that. What a scumbag he turned out to be, huh? Amazing. But I knew that all along. I never liked the guy. There was something shady and shifty about him, but everybody loved him. Even Tom. Tom praised him and said he was the greatest guy in the world. And then he turns out to be this creepazoid. But, I don't understand that stuff. I don't understand a lot of things in the world. But, I tried to think things through. And I came up with this number in my head. I said, something, if I can get to 20,000, I don't care who passes me. I'm not here. This isn't about me, but it was accomplishment that if I put enough work in and was able to raise enough money for charities and stuff like that, if I got to 20,000, I'd be pretty happy. And, here I sit about 19.3. And I said, come on, let's go for it, right? And as time went on, let me turn on this light here. Hold on for a second. Nobody said this was professional, and this is why I'll never make it to 20,000. I'm a mess. What can I tell you? I forgot to turn on a light. There we go. Oh, shine a little light on the situation. It never hurts, right? Now let me grab something out of the fridge while I'm at it. A complete zero Dr. Pepper, which is great. Nighthawk will get you with the Godzilla in a bit, if I can find him. Oh, there he is. Okay, cool. I got to show you guys some stuff too, so bear with me. Saring Guitar. How are you, my brother? Good to see you. So, to go on, as I creep, you go up, you go down, and, you just hit a wall, and I know what my ceiling is, and this is never going to be a big time channel, and that's fine. That's fine. But I started to get tired. I got tired of the business a bit, and I started thinking to myself, I did everything that I possibly could. Maybe it's just time to pick up and walk away. And, I helped a lot of friends. I did a lot of good things. Why don't I just go off to the sunset? I've had a lot of fun. Maybe throw a stream up or two, here and there. But, don't worry about it. Even though, you set that number in your head, because I always wanted to. Now I start thinking one of the greatest moments of my life is as a kid, teenager, Here's to you guys. Matthew, how are you, my friend? I said, I remember going to see Bruno Sammartino take on Larry Sabisco in Madison Square Garden. And it was a big trip because all the guys, I was security at Kmart as a kid. My father was a cop, so, I had ins to get certain things done. But I took a lot of pride in that. I was a door guard. And back in those days when somebody's trying to run out, now we were on the edge of New Haven, so there were lower class people right on that line. So they would come in that Kmart, they would fill up shopping bags, and they would try to run out of there. And every single, now here I am, I'm like 16, maybe 17, somewhere in there. And there's these guys that are, 30, 25, trying to get out of this place, stealing stuff. And back then, it was a fight. I mean, a fist fight. Because you were allowed to tackle them and everything else. And the fist fights I would get into, I would get a phone call. Hey, we got a guy coming. He just took all the stuff out of sporting goods, put it into a container. Don't let him get by the door. And I was the first line of defense until they could get down there. Or they'd be walking down the aisle and they'd give me a signal and I'd go, oh, here we go. And every single shift I had, it was fist fights. fist fights. It was bad enough as a kid growing up having the fist fight all the time. I think that's where I get my "you shall not pass" attitude. But you know, it was just absolutely brutal. So, I got completely off on a different tangent talking about this, but that's what I do. I tell you a little bit about my life. But anyway, so these guys, all the guys, were big wrestling fans, and so was I as a kid. And they said, we're getting tickets to go see Bruno take on Larry Sabisco in Madison Square Garden. I went, really? They go, do you want to go? I go, of course I want to go. How am I going to get to New York, though? We're going to drive. So we all got in the car and went there. And I walked in that place, and it was the most unbelievable, magical place. 20,000 people to the rafters to see this wrestling match. And I always thought that was the most people I ever saw in my life. Until, I went to see some football games and stuff like that. But for me, it made such an impression that when I started doing this channel, I go, boy, if I can get as many people as was in that Madison Square Garden to follow me on this channel, you know something? That's a great career. You know what I mean? I've done something. And for me, that was my personal goal. Well, as things kind of got going and things like that, Rojan, how are you? LOL. Now you would end up in jail and the crook would walk away with the goods. Yeah. But it was a different time back then, late 70s, early 80s, it was just a different time. And over this last year, this has been absolutely brutal. 2 hurricanes, which, this one was actually worse than the one that was like a category 4. Because this one, it was more wind than it was rain. And the problem is if it slowly creeps, the wind's blowing one way. And then it slowly shifts. But because this one moved pretty quickly, the wind shifted. And we lost trees. We had some other things that we had a problem with. My mother-in-law's gazebo came down. We were worried about the cows, the chickens, the goats, all these other things. And I thought to myself, how much more can we take? The people that there was a thing with the land here that we had a problem with, that there was an additional owner that they forged the name for, so they were going to try to take about 10 acres from us. Fortunately, that person has been arrested, and we were able, through insurance, to settle that guy's claim. So now we own all this finally. That was very stressful. My son going through a lot of things. My grandson going through a lot of stuff. My wife having a tough time. Me having physical issues and stuff like that. It's been a year, a little bit more than a year, especially with the COVID and how much it's taken out of me. I still train really hard. I'm trying, I believe not in taking a step backwards, but going forward. And I thought, of all things, why, I love doing this, but, something's got to give. And I thought maybe, because, I try to promise and do things for you guys, and I just can't seem to get them to the table, especially with all these glasses on the table. Who's this, Mayor Mahook or something? Which one was this? Oh, Captain Crook. Remember him? Anybody remember Captain Crook? Okay. There you go. She needs to get these off this table. Mayor McCheese. Wasn't there another one there? There was Grimace. Oh, there was the police guy. There he is over there. You got Muppets, got Snoopy. All kinds of glasses. I get off the train. But I thought to myself, I keep on trying to do things for these people, and I can't seem to follow through with it. I'm able to do certain things, and then, it goes someplace else. And, I think the videos have been decent. I try my best. what they haven't been great. I go, maybe it's just time to either walk away for a while or just walk away. Hold your head up high, you know, and call it, you know. You're not knocking the world over with sponsors. You're not knocking the world over with charities and stuff like that, which I'll get to. You know, nobody's worried about this channel. You got a few people and they're good, but you know, they watch other stuff and that's fine. Maybe it's just time to kind of, you know, tip the hat and move on. And I really felt that. The police guy was the Big Mac. Yes, he was, Shannon. That's true. Oh my God, it's early. Yeah, well, my wife has a. It's her birthday today, so I wanted to get this in early. Sorry, folks. But I really felt in my heart of hearts, you know, the few friends that I have in this business are good people. And, you know, I felt I'd be leaving it in good hands. And, you know, what kind of kept on scratching at me was, man, boy, I really like to hit that 20,000. You know, just, you know, because I always tell my kids never to give up and never hang it up. And when you start feeling at your lowest, you know, not a lot of people are going to come on and tell you what they feel inside or how things really work. What they're going to do is they're going to try to sell you, try to take every dollar that they can from you. That's not what we do here. It's about games. It's about, I think sometimes it's about peace of mind. It's about being able to have, you know, there's not much around here. You know, I live out in the middle of nowhere. A lot of us do. Some of us live in heavily populated areas. But, you know, I have all the stuff. It's just kind of neat to kind of share it with everybody. And do these certain things. And, you know, not too long ago, I had written a bunch of companies and I said, hey, you know, not for anything. You know, I got a channel. We got this many people. You know, you've put out a certain amount of games and I'm kind of interested in, and if you'd like, I can review them for you and I can really do a nice job with them. And I think when I was at my lowest of low, not, you know, because, you know, it's kind of like when you're holding a board on your shoulders and they just keep on putting more weight and more weight and more weight. Eventually something's going to break. And I felt that, you know, this whole year and a half, you know, with the COVID, with the this, with that, all the stresses and everything of moving, you know, not having my studio the way I want it, not being able to have time to do it. Give the queen our best. I will. And happy birthday, says Shannon. Hold on, folks. Happy birthday to your lovely wife. I will tell her, all of you, and I thank you for that. That I figured that maybe that, again, like I said, you know, before this really falls, go out with your head up, held high. Go out on a high note. Go out, you know, feeling pretty good. And then I discovered that I can do those little short things for YouTube, which was kind of fun. So I started doing little things outside the box of this. And those have been fun to do because they're 60 seconds. Boom. I do it on my phone, you know, and it attaches to my channel because I'm still trying to learn. It's hard teaching an old dog new tricks. You know, if I'm not working on my Commodore or Amiga, my Commodore 64 or my Amiga, basically I'm out of my element at times, I feel. But something showed up at my door on Friday and I went, oh my God, these guys really responded to me. They think I have some kind of worth. And I was sent a copy of Tomb of Giants, Dark Souls. And you know something? I got excited again. And I said, you know something? You know, I just got to keep on doing the things that excite me. And I started looking at this, and I love this game. A lot of people don't. I mean, some people don't, but I really love Dark Souls. But this is a new second edition core set, which was really cool. And I started going to it, and I started getting that excitement again. And I said, well, you know something, don't. I got to get outside my head at times, and sometimes you start to eat up inside your head. Yesterday, two people I love, the blue player Robert Jason Sir, and Julie Ahern, who I believe used to work with Green Barrier Games, sent me this really neat thing, and it is for Folklore, The Affliction. It is a creature crate, and it really has something really cool. It has additional miniatures in it that it comes with, and the Fate of the Dark Spire, which is the latest edition, which I've yet to go. I have all the cutouts for it, but I didn't have the figures and all the figures in it. And they just sent it to me, and I feel real bad because they have gotten married recently. I believe it was in September they got married. I think they got married out in Vegas, and I forgot to, congratulate them, which I'm going to do in an extensive email that I'm going to send them and thank them for so much. And I realize I have some really good friends in this business. It's a good part of it is very shady at best. You never hear the truth about a lot of things, but that's not for me to tell you about. And I'm not going to go into a whole rant about that because I have a million times. But I've seen a couple channels that a particular person has spoken the truth about a lot of things about some of the bigger channels. But they get ignored, and I wondered why. It's because we don't want to hear about the bad stuff, because that's what we do on a daily basis. I think people want to have hope in something and want to be able to just enjoy things without certain things being exposed. Just see what they see on TV and or their screen, and be able to just get away from the world. And I think instead of trying to open the door and say, hey, you shouldn't be following that guy, why don't we look at the good that person does? And no, they go about things the wrong way, and they cut a lot of corners, and they hold a lot of people hostage, and they want to point at everybody else. Just let it go and just let people enjoy themselves. Things are so tough. And I realized how tough things were, and this is another thing that went through my head. I gotta take a sip, sorry. I get up at the crack of dawn, run out, feed the cows, go get the paper for my mother-in-law down the hill, because we don't deliver the paper here. But I started thinking to myself that, something, just do the best I can. And getting those two things kind of inspired me and said, something, I got some more videos in me. I got some more things that I want to accomplish and do. And just do it in my own time. People don't like it. Unfortunately, they'll, don't want you to leave, but that's understandable. But, hopefully enough people see that, we are passionate about what we do, very passionate, and join and become part of it. I keep on looking over here because my screen, I still haven't moved it. But another thing is the auction. Times are tough. I put up an auction on Wednesday, and I'm going to cancel the auction. And instead, what I'm going to do is every dollar I get from YouTube, because, you get paid per views and stuff like that. And I'm going to take some money out of my pocket, and I'm going to supplement my donations that way. Times are way too tough for people to be holding an auction right now. I thought maybe by doing that, I'd be helping some people. get some things that they normally couldn't get. But I also realized that, people just don't have money. I mean, nobody bid on this stuff. And I didn't push the issue, and because I was kind of torn about doing it anyways. I think when things get better, maybe we'll come back and we'll revisit it. Meanwhile, I'll just stockpile everything. And what I'm going to do is, like Nighthawk just gave us, $20. Thank you so much. What I'm going to do with that is I'm going to put it towards our donations. So everything that I make from this channel, we are going to donate to a couple of charities and help people out that need help. And if you need help, you can get a hold of us at novaprime860@hotmail.com. Just let us know what's going on, and we'll do what we can to help you. I can't promise you anything. We just do our best. We really do. I sent a bid. Yes, it is. I'm taking it down, and unfortunate, Adia, that is way under what that stuff is worth. And I mean, normally I would accept it, but I'm just going to cancel the entire auction. I think it's the best thing to do right now. Being military, I play games to forget about the real world. Same thing here, Bill. If only for a little while. Thanks for being you, Rob. Well, thank you. Hang it up. You're at your prime, Rob. Pretty old. Well, I disagree with that, Eric. I don't think I'm at my prime. I think I'm very dated. There's a lot of younger talent that people enjoy. There's nothing wrong with it. They're not the best people in the world, but there are some younger talent that are really just tearing it up out there, because they hit a certain demographic and things like that. For me, I'm too old school. I'm too behind the times. I think, I think of an older time, and it doesn't relate with a younger audience. That's why this channel kind of tick, 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 it kind of puts along. But, I'm more of a grandfather, and how many people want to hang out with their grandfather? You will for a little while, but ultimately on a Friday night, you want to be hanging with your friends. You don't want to be hanging with your grandfather, unless you're in that movie Dirty Grandpa, where you go down to Daytona. Saw that. That was a hoot. But I think ultimately the best thing that we can do, or I can do, is, just not so much step aside. Like I even thought of taking a little time over the holidays and chilling out, trying to get this arm right so I could do some painting and stuff like that. Painting has been brutal. Every time I try to sit down and do something, my hand just shakes lately. And I think it's because of the newer medication I'm on for diabetes. I take a shot and it just wipes me out for like 3 or 4 days. That Osepic is stay old school cool. Well, I do. Old. Not old, vintage. Yeah, well, yeah, I can see that. Fads and fashions come and go. Yeah, that's true. I would say I'm part of the younger demographic, and I really enjoy your content more than most younger creators, truly. Well, thank you. That means a lot to me. Yeah, you have to sometimes open your eyes and see a certain reality. And I do that at times. And I take a step back and I look and I go, okay, I scream to the hilt about, all the stupid faces, the clickbait stuff. And I go, what is this garbage? Because it just cringes me out. When that stuff is what gets certain, channels millions of followers. The shock, the clickbait. Boy, when you look up a Marvel movie, I have exclusive information, and then they say nothing. and that's how you do it. That's how you fool people into getting all these views and these subscriptions and things like that. You give them just enough so they keep coming back. Hey, make sure you check out the next video where I'm going to be talking more about this and hopefully breaking what you really want to. It's an art form. And for me, it's just, if I'm going to cut a promo, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna tell you. So I'm gonna tell a lot of people some things they don't want to hear. I'm gonna tell some people things that they need to hear. That I think. Does it make me right? No, absolutely not. But at the end of the day, when I put my head down on my pillow, I sleep pretty well. Well, not with the COVID, but I mean, I can close my eyes and know that at the end of the day, everything I did was what I felt was right. May not be right, may not be wrong. You and the Player Aid dudes are great. I like your talks. Well, thank you, Eric. Being authentic and down to earth never goes out of style. No, I don't think so. I mean, if you're yourself and you don't conform, then it's in a way, this is kind of like high school in a way. The popular kids, usually turn out to be the biggest jerks. Okay. And then, everybody wants to be one of the cool kids. Hey, who doesn't want to be the cool kid? Who doesn't want to be liked and loved? I mean, it's a human emotion. It's as simple as that. There are just some times that you just feel that, you know what? I could take and do other things that I need to do with my time. And that I just went through one of those periods. And it wasn't, I've gone through it before, but I think it was more because out of just pure anger. This time it was just, wow, things have been really tough. And it's not because I didn't enjoy what I was doing. It was because a time before I thought about hanging up, and I said, something, 1 year and I'm done. And it was because I was burnt out. I was going to all the conventions. I was doing work for Board Game Geek, which I would never go back and do a thing for them. And Rodney attests to that, but that's a story for another time. Aldi's a great guy, but I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get into that. Seeing some of these channels that I had tried to help and do things with, and that I felt that it would help raise money for charities, and then going through all that, the conventions and pushing myself to a degree, I got burnt out. I wasn't enjoying it anymore. And I said, something, after a year. And then when I kind of took a step back and took a deep breath and started doing things that I liked to do, I found I was going to miss it and I couldn't walk away. And I really liked doing this. But I had to do it in my own time. I had to do it at my own pace. This time it was, it's been such a tough couple of years, and I'm not giving people the quality and the quantity or being able to fulfill things the way I want to. And if I can't do that, and if I can't do a service to people, maybe it's time to pick it up and tip the hat and move on. And then, a couple things come in and I get excited again and I go, I just got to push through it. I got to pace myself a little bit better. I do make a lot of videos a week, and I don't want to get away from that. But I also thought, well, how can you miss me if I don't go away? Maybe too much is too much. It's it's kind of a thing that you. Let me just check this out. Being authentic. It is also because those creators, they're trying to make this a full-time career rather than you as mostly a hobby. The reason I've done this, and I've said it in the past, and again for some of you new people, I had an uncle I loved dearly. He introduced me to Godzilla movies and model building and painting and all that stuff. And he tragically passed away before he was 50. He was just an old hippie. He went to Woodstock. He just lived his life, just free, and just didn't care about anything. And I admired him, and he was just somebody that introduced me to a science fiction world and all this kind of stuff. And games and things like that, things that I would test my mind and things like that. And it always challenged me. And we did everything together. We loved sports. We loved model building. His room was like a shrine to like all these old movies and stuff like that. Introduced me to comic books. And I started the channel because when he had passed, I wanted to raise money for charities. I always did try to help charities any way I could. And I wanted to do certain things. And so I built a Death Star that I brought to the Dice Tower convention, which was the very first gaming convention I ever went to. Back then, they only allowed like 300 people. There was a maximum. You had to get your ticket. And then it went to 600, 900, 1,500. And then, it's where it is now, where they have an East and a West. And, hey, good for Tom. He stepped on a lot of bodies to get to this point. He should be proud of himself. I felt, and I was able to raise $300 for his foundation, which was the Jack Vassell Foundation for his son that passed away. And then every year I would try to do something bigger and bigger. And I started filming it and stuff like that. And I found I enjoyed it. And I eventually joined the Dice Tower. And that's where this channel came about. It just was something that kept growing and kept going. And I do it in honor of my uncle. I do it for a bunch of people that are out there that mean a lot to me. And you all know who you are because I call you out all the time. I'm so thankful for each and every one of you that watch this. It's not the quantity, it's the quality of people that watch. And I understand that. Did I set a goal for myself, 20,000? Yeah, sure. If I get there, nothing else seems will matter at that point, and I can just kind of, maybe I'll take a deep breath. But I'm always driven to do this. There's a passion about it. I got a good friend, Dale, the casual gamer. I went and got this because I really like his playthroughs, and I wanted to do more of this because I love card games. He's the king of card games. So he made me go buy that, basically. Now I got to get a few more expansions. Or rebuy it, because I had actually auctioned it off so we can give some money to some people. But, for me now, when you think you get to a certain age and you're kind of outdated and you go, I've done everything that I could do. I've done it all. I've shined. I've had some tough times in this. I've screamed at the top of the hills. I've had some exciting things. And then, you get a really fantastic message from the guys at Oathsworn, from Mr. Jolly and O'Hara, saying, how much they thanked me for getting the game to where it is today. And, I did that video on Friday for, not because they asked, because I believe in them. They're good people. They're my friends. They mean something to me. And they made a fantastic game, possibly the game of the year. Check that video out, folks. And I'm just so happy for them. And even everything that they've been through. And now the second Kickstarter has just been an overwhelming success with a few days left. Please, if you haven't funded it, go. If you haven't gotten that game, you need to. Just stake a claim in it for $1, and then you could do something in the manager later when things are a little easier. You know, and people like that have stood behind this channel. Pete from Simon, who's done so many wonderful things for this channel. I can't thank him enough. Richard Launius, who's become a friend. Herman Lutman, Mark Walker, GMT, that have believed in us. When Herman Lutman went to him and said, hey, this guy's a good guy and he does a lot of good work for war games, check him out. And, they sent things because of Herman, and I thank him for that. And a lot of people dropped us, because we don't matter. When my arm went bad, Army Painter walked away. That's all right, because I wasn't able to paint as much. I still advertise for them because they're good guys. They believed in us at one time. There's a lot of people that have said a lot of things and that they would do and they don't do. And that's just part of the business. I don't take it personally. I just go, okay, I'm a rinky-dink channel that isn't going to make a difference in your bottom line, and that's okay. Facing those realities and being okay with them, and being okay that, all right, I'm an older guy, that is trying to talk to a younger crowd. And don't get me wrong, the stereotypical old guy that plays board games is out there. And hopefully I resonate with them, or the younger crowd that I do reach. Maybe I can teach them something that'll help them, something that'll make a difference in their lives. And those are the things that you tried to do. And it's more important than numbers. It's more important than subscriptions. It's more important than a lot of things. Look at Martin Knight and all the wonderful work that he's done for me. But because, I've been trying to do another video on that. It's not cult of the new stuff that I try to do. It's just trying to find balance in my life where I can get and do some of these live things. Starlink, what a problem that's been. The screw job that we got from Comcast. Thank you so much. Xfinity. Just so many things in the last year, and it weighed very heavily. And, I really contemplated doing things. And then you get, Dark Souls, and you get excited about it. And then you get your folklore creature crate, and you go, maybe we revisit that. Why don't we do that over some time period and try to figure out, why don't we go down to the storage unit and pull out some stuff and have some fun? Wouldn't it be fun to do this and that? And things start going through my head, and then all of a sudden I just realized, sometimes, it takes just the littlest thing to just, maybe it's a sign from the heavens, whether you believe or not. That's doesn't matter to me. It's, where I see things, sometimes you just get a sign. Maybe it's my uncle saying, hey, you still got work to do here. You still have people to reach, people to maybe make a difference in their lives. And, if I can do that, and at the end of the day, when it's all gone, it's not about money. It's not about trying to make a living out of this. It's about the people I've helped. It's about the people I touched and moved, hopefully. And, one of the best things about, I hated going to conventions. And one of the things I couldn't stand about going to conventions was when people would come up to me, because I never felt I deserved that kind of attention. And when somebody turned to you and would say to you, you have no idea how much your channel has meant to me, and how much you and your videos have meant to me, and how much they've inspired me, and how much my family, my kids watch you, and things like that. And, it catches you off guard because you never feel worthy of it. Okay? We all have insecurities inside, and we're uncertain of ourselves. Listen, there's a lot of things that I can do that people can't do. Even at this age, and even, down a certain amount of strength, I'm still benching 450. I can punch a hole through a concrete wall almost. Okay, I still have a lot in me, and all those things that I can do, sports wise and physically and things like that, don't mean nothing to me as much as when somebody says that you made a difference in their lives. And it's humbling, and at the same time it's kind of uncomfortable because you go, me? I did that? That's where it's not about money. That's where it's not about fame. You have to be very narcissistic to do this in a lot of ways, and a lot of people are. And play till it hurts, late to the party, as usual. Well, at least you made a grand entrance, see, on the camera. But I always try to tell you guys, keep going forward. Don't let things get in your way. Don't take a step back. And yet there are times when I feel like I want to take a step back and contradict everything I tell you to do. But there's something deep inside that makes me just keep going forward. And you have to have that inner fortitude. It's not something that can be taught. It has to be something that comes from within us all. And we all have it. Because, sometimes you're like, oh, why am I alive? Why am I this? But if you had to be faced with an ending, there's just something inside that wants to keep going. You want to see things. There's people around you that care about you, and you have to open your eyes and see that. And you have to open your eyes and see the beauty in the world, and not all the ugliness. Ugliness sells and does a great job at getting clicks and views and ratings on TVs. There's a group of board gamers that don't do anything for the hobby except point out all those people that should be canceled instead of helping the hobby. I'm right, not you. I'm right, and you should believe in this. I'm right, and this is what should happen. We all should just play games. We all should just find a way to wake up each day and get through our days, and just get to a point where, when it's time to relax, that you do things that you're passionate and that you love, things that give you a reason. Do you love farming? Do you love playing board games, video games? Do you love just spending time with your family? Do you love taking the kids to Chuck E. Cheese or spending time with your grandkids and stuff like that? Those are the things that are important. Those are the things that matter in life. And every time I go to put that foot back, those are the things that run through my head. Is I'd be contradicting myself. I'd be quitting and giving up on something. When I want to go, I'm going to go out, in a positive manner, not because I'm overwhelmed. And I think, if anything, that's what those two things showing up at my doorstep did. They said, nah, something, we still would like you to do this, and we'd like you to do that, and we still think you make a difference. And then, you guys and the guys that just follow and click that subscribe button and watch all these videos, I realize, those are the people that expect me to come on here and just, not professionally do it, but just spend time with them. Get through this together. And keep going and keep doing what I'm doing and do the best I can. I think when I get things in, I think I'm just going to do what I can, and that's about it. I'm sorry I can't get to everything I'd like to get to. I'll show off things. I'll the games I do play, I will make sure that I do the best I can to cover them, and that I think is the best I can do, and just keep going forward. And thank you, Julie and SFG for still believing in this old guy, and it means a lot. It really does. It really, really, really does. And it makes a difference. Wake up, get out of bed, and game on. Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to keep moving forward. Your uncle sounded like he was a really cool dude. He was something special. Oh, he used to make us laugh. I remember one time there is a mountain up in Meriden, Connecticut. It's called Sleeping Giant. Basically, I think it was Hamden, more or less. And he would take us there. And there's a castle at the very top of it. Now, when I was very, very young, he decided, and his girlfriend at the time, Kathy, we used to call her Aunt Kathy. They never got married. I wonder what happened to Kathy. But he took us to this park, and we were going to climb up and see the castle. Well, we started going, but it took longer than it did. But he kept on telling us there were trolls in the mountain. And as we were going up. He had a portable radio that was going on, and it was on 106.9, I think WCCC. And very vividly, I remember Yes coming on, and him telling me how much he loved Yes, and I became a huge Yes fan after that. And he liked a lot of progressive music, and we didn't make it all the way up to the top, but we had to watch out for the trolls coming down. So he goes, I hear him, come on, we got to get down. I guess it got a little late and he had to go to work, so we got down. He took us home, but I always thought about that, going up there and one day seeing the castle. Well, I got older, and then I went up there by myself with some friends, and there was a castle up there, and I always thought about that. I go, well, this is pretty cool. I go, come to think, this whole trip, it was kind of let down where were all the trolls and all the other things, but they weren't there. He was a big David Bowie fan, and I remember as a teenager, he was coming to the Hartford Civic Center, and I'd saved up all my money, and I bought us 2 tickets, and he was so moved by that, and we went. I had a great time, and at the end of the show, they pulled this thing, and all these moons came down, these golden little moons. They were balloons or whatever. When he died and they cleared out his face, he still had that balloon. He had it flattened and all taken care of, but he held on to it because it meant something, because he remembered he had that in his ticket. And being able to do that for him meant a lot to me. That's for sure. The board game Nexus. You are hitting on a ton of things that wear us down too. We just want to play and enjoy the space when we can. We also wanted to walk away so many times. Just know the hobby needs you. Well, that means a lot to me. Thank you, Aunt and Francis. 2 of the nicest people I ever got a chance to chat with. It's a funny story was, and how I ran into them, was we didn't know each other, and this is going back a lot of years. This is when they were Ant Labs. Well, I think Francis had a headache or something like that, and my channel wasn't the biggest thing, and they were doing very well, and he was looking for. We were in the gift shop at the hotel, and never really said anything to each other, but he was looking for some ibuprofen, and I said, it's right there behind the counter. He goes, oh, hey, thanks. I didn't want to bother him, and say, hey, I really enjoy all your work and everything that you two guys do and stuff like that. And, they're very quiet to themselves people. And that was the one time that we met, believe it or not. And I never forgot that because I was just kind of like, they're really good people. Just leave them be, I don't want to bother them going, hey, be another fanboy. It was kind of funny. But I always enjoy everything that they've done. And boy, have they been through a lot. And they keep going forward. You talk about inner fortitude, inner strength, heart. If you haven't watched Board Game Nexus, you need to. Okay? Understand their story and the things that they've been through. And the strength to keep going and believe in something that you're so passionate about. And to be able to fight through the filth that people can throw and the unkindness and the pure hatred that's out there. There's so much divide instead of togetherness. It's a scary time. But this too shall pass, my friends. This too shall pass. I was a fanboy as well, Rob. I remember that day too. we didn't want to bother each other, and I think that's the ultimate sign of respect is when you really enjoy somebody and you just don't want to bother them, what can you say? Glenn says, Rob, I love your stuff. I watch because I know you do this because you love it. Yes, I do. Not because you're trying to make money. No. Well, that's a lie. I do try to make some money to give to charities. I really feel passionate. We've been able to help a lot of people. There were people that couldn't pay their rent at Christmas time, couldn't get presents for people. We would send care boxes and stuff like that. And that's what we've tried to raise the money for. Don't get me wrong. There's been plenty of times I've had to buy paints and I've taken some of the money and bought some paints and stuff like that. I'm not going to lie to you. It's better to tell the truth. There's a saying, and it's very, very true. It is so much harder to keep up with a lie than just take the heat and tell the truth. It's so much work to lie because you have to keep that lie in your head and it's not the truth. And you have to keep telling the same lie. Instead of just telling the truth and, take it on the chin a little bit and say, yeah, well, that's the truth. You'll find people are a lot more forgiving if you just tell the truth instead of lying. One of the things at work, it's kind of funny, is if something goes wrong, I go, yeah, I did that. I messed up. And they go, yeah, we knew you would confess to it, if something went wrong. I go, okay, sorry about that. Is there a problem? Is there a way I can fix it? Or do I need to be punished or something? No, we just needed to know. Okay. Instead of going, oh, I didn't do that. And then them having to waste their energy and find out that it was, that eventually it'll come out that you did it. And then people can't trust you. That's the thing. Once they lie to you, you can't trust them. Oh, are they going to lie again? What are they going to... Okay, are they telling me the truth about this? Better to tell the truth. It really does make a difference in shows. Thank you. My go-to channel specifically when I am working at my paint table. Well, thank you, David. That means a lot. It really does. So, guess what? I think we covered a lot here today. I'm looking forward to bringing this Tomb of Giants because, first of all, I love painting skeletons. So I'm going to do a video on that, and then we're going to do a playthrough because I love Dark Souls anyways. This folklore crate is just glorious. And Julie, I love her and Robert so much. They have been just beautiful friends to me. They've always been there for me. And she sent this. And I think this thing is just cool because I can put all my folklore And it kind of gets me all pumped up to do a thing of folklore, which we used to do live, as a matter of fact, which was a lot of fun. So maybe we'll do that too. So, it's my wife's birthday. I've got to get in there. I've got to take a shower and I got to take her to breakfast, or else. I got her, first of all, you know what she told me? She goes, oh, it's just another day, just another day. I go, okay, it's just another day. So yesterday, she loves metalworking. So I went to this place. I go, pick something out. So she goes, well, I kind of like this. I asked the guy. He goes, it's $299. I go, okay. The guy goes, hey, you guys have been here before. I go, yeah, I know. I drop $1,000 every time I come here. I go, maybe I can get out with just paying $300. Well, she saw something else. Well, this would be really nice, but oh, that's a lot of money. Before you know it, it was $900 for her birthday. But she deserves it. She deals with me on a daily basis. So I got her that, took her out to dinner. We went to Texas Roadhouse, had a nice big steak. And then she says, do me one favor for my birthday. I go, go ahead. What do you want? She goes, don't get me a cake. I go, don't get you cake. We have to get you cake. She goes, no, you know what I like. I go, oh, okay, I got you. So this morning I had to run out and get an ice cream cake. You know, the Carvel cakes. Now, up north, when we lived up north, you can go to a Carvel store and you can get the cake. The most important part of the ice cream cake isn't the ice cream. It's the crunchies in the middle. Okay, if you ever had a Carvel ice cream cake, those crunchy in the middle are glorious. Okay, but up at the Carvel stores, you would be able to buy a container of the crunchies and pour extra crunchies because she loves the crunchies. Well, you can't do that down here in the South until I decided to do some investigation and I found a place that does sell the crunchies. So now, when she gets her thing, she can pour all the crunchies she wants. Here's a girl that weighs about 8 pounds, and her diet is ginger snap cookies right now, ice cream cake, and Twizzlers. Doesn't put a pound on. Figure that one out. All right. It's just another day till the day you forget it's the Queen's birthday. Yeah. That'd be that. All right, guys. I love you all. We owe Mr. Knight a Godzilla. Let's see if he gets the music today. Bro. Nighthawk, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, brother. Stupid lizard is he is who he is. What can I tell you? All right, guys. I love you all. Thank you for watching this little update there. We've got some stuff coming up. I'm not going to promise anything because God only knows what's going to go wrong. We got goats. We got chickens. We got cows. We got electrical. Remember where I said we smelled something? If you didn't find out, we had a light, one of the fluorescent lights. The person that owned this house prior put it up incorrectly and it caught fire. Okay, and we caught it in time. We were able to disconnect it. That's why it's a little dimmer in here. But I'm going to take this one down and we're going to put a couple of fans up and we're going to do it right. That's all I needed was for the house to burn down. But just know that the auction has been called off. I think it's too tough a time for people. We'll do something differently. I'm going to find a way to, whatever I make on YouTube here, we are going to raise up and we're going to do the donations and I'll take money out of my own pocket this year. Next year, when things are better for people, I think that's what we'll do. We'll help everybody else that way. So I love you all. Thank you so much for everything you do, and watching and just caring. And that's what keeps me going. I hope I make as much of a difference in your lives as much as you make in mine. And thank you so much. Until next time, it is your old pal Rob saying, we shall see you soon. Take it easy, everybody.